pickup height. This week, I wanted to make a quick video about something that kind of blew my mind when I first learned how much it affected the guitar tone, and that's the pickup height. And what I mean by that is the height, how close the pickup is to the strings. Now, if you don't know, there's some screws on either side of whatever pickup you have. And usually, actually I think almost all the time, there's some play, there's some adjustment available to you in the height of the pickup. Why does that matter? What does that do? Well, what's going on here, and I'm no expert, there's a magnet, there's a wire, right? The magnet, it has a magnetic field, an electromagnetic field, because it's attached to some wires and you're plugging it into an electrical circuit. And the closer the strings are to the magnet, the stronger the disturbance in the magnetic field, and therefore the stronger the voltage. Oversimplifying incredibly. But what I was hoping to do in this video is really just give you a quick demo of how it works. And if you've never done this adjustment before, it's super easy to do. You don't have to worry about destroying your guitar. You're just tightening a screw or loosening a screw, and you can see it go up and down, and you'll be able to hear the difference. So right now, I'm just using, I've got a Baroque string gauge action ruler, and I'm just gonna check my strings, hold it up here, put it on the bridge pickup. I'm right about 0.11 of an inch. And it's a little bit harder to see the thicker string because the string's thicker, but it's about the same. It looks pretty level to me. Looks actually maybe a little bit higher on the lower side of the pickup. And that's something you can do too, is if you have a situation where your lower strings are maybe a little too bassy, maybe back it away, right? You can angle the pickup side to side if you want to do that. Usually just keep it level, it'll be fine. But anyways, yeah. What I'm going to do in this video is record some sound samples and adjust the pickup heights, and then I'll chop them together and you can hear the difference. Just to get us started, here's what the stock sound sounds like. So I just backed it way off so that the pickup is now about 0.14 away on the high E string, and yeah, about the same on the low E string, and let's compare. So hopefully you could hear. I could definitely hear big difference there. Let's keep cranking it back up, and go beyond what it was. Get it as close as we can. See what that sounds like. So now, oh wow. Now we're at about half of what we started at. 0.06, 0.07 on the high E string. About the same. So still level. Let's hear what this sounds like. Now I can hear that's too close for this pickup in these strings. I'm getting some buzzing. You can see how close it is. If I can get this on camera. Like, it's insanely close. You would never rock it this way, because you could hear there when I dig in on the bottom on the low E string, you can hear the buzzing. Now, maybe you could use that that for an effect if you were recording. It actually sounds kind of gnarly. Maybe it's cool, but you probably wouldn't roll with that most often. So where I had it set up before, which is where it came to me, was right about as high as I would probably run it, which is interesting. Maybe I've always thought of these as pretty low output. Maybe that matches with the pickup height. If you've got some hotter pickups, oftentimes what I do is I actually just did this adjustment on my Gretsch. The neck pickup was a little too bassy, a little too woofy and strong for me. And so I just backed it away from the strings a little bit, and it balanced out a lot more nicely to me, to my ear, and whatever setup I had going on with the front pickup. Maybe I should grab that guitar and give you a demo of what that sounds like right now. Okay, so this is my Gretsch. I'm gonna turn the volume down, mute the volume. This is my Gretsch. And like I said, the neck pickup was just a little too woofy compared to the bridge pickup. And actually, I'm looking at it now, I'm noticing the bridge pickup is pretty hot, pretty high up there. Let's see, hopefully you can see that and not my face. Autofocus, help me. You can see it's super low. Oh yeah, you can see that pretty clearly. The bridge pickup is really high, and the neck pickup is pretty low. So let me play for you what that sounds like. I'll switch between the two pickups, and then I'll put it back up, kind of to where it was, to where they match. Probably a little bit lower, not quite as high as the bridge pickup, and then I'll give you a compare and contrast. So here's what it sounds like right now. Bridge pickup. And let me adjust, and actually let's consider the middle position here as well. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is raise the neck pickup back to kind of where it was. I didn't measure it the other day, so I apologize, but I'll raise it up a lot so you can hear the difference on this guitar, because I think it actually might be more pronounced this is my main use case for doing this sort of thing, is usually like lowering the neck pickup is what I find. Anyways, here we go. This guitar, for some reason, they decided to put a flathead. Flathead, really? If you know why flatheads still exist, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know why I have to deal with this. Now, depending on your setup, you'll notice there'll be a point where you're screwing it one way, the pickup is rising, or lowering, and it just stops moving. Don't keep going, especially if you're cranking it down. Different pickups are mounted with like a reverse spring sort of system, or direct mounted or whatever. You don't want to over tighten. Just general advice. I'm not an expert, but don't over tighten. Don't go crazy with it. But you can see now, if I show you, it's a lot. Let me flip it over. You can see clearly, without the pickguard in the way, a lot closer than it was before to the strings. So let's see what that sounds like. Again, starting on the bridge pickup. Should be no different. Neck pickup. Now the middle position. Now maybe you want that, to me, that sounds, when I switch back and forth, just a little bit too much oomph from the neck pickup. Yeah, I want the pickups to sound a little more balanced in terms of their output level. And so that's what this adjustment's for. Hello, Brad from the future here. So I got a better example of what's going on, a good visual example. So I was looking at the waveforms from what I just played, and you can clearly see what I'm talking about. So over here on the left here, this is the first example. This is when I played on the bridge pickup on this Gretsch. And right next to it, this is when I played on the neck pickup. Now, a few things that are interesting here. Let's just focus on this first part. Whoops. Up here is this post signal, the signal out of the Axe effect. So this is with the amp and the effects, all that stuff. This is the raw guitar input signal. Notice the difference. This is the input. Big, big difference between the amplitude of the bridge pickup and the neck pickup here. But not so big a difference once you run it through the amp, right? But you heard the difference. You heard what happened when we played it. So this over here is when I raised the pickup up. Now look, this is the bridge pickup. Looks about the same as it did over here, but the neck pickup so much louder going into the amp. But okay, it's a little bit louder than the bridge pickup now, right? But not as big of a difference in the output. You can see it here, but you could hear a bigger difference than the difference in input gain. Really, really visually, you can see the difference in the input. The difference in the level of the output is not quite as extreme as what you hear tonally, right? The amp is getting, and this is just the nature of the amp, and in this case, the amp model. You hit the amp harder, it doesn't get louder. At the point of breakup, it actually just gets different. It gets more distorted. It does the thing the amp does, whatever amp you're playing through. And in this case, it got a little bit too boomy, a little bit too bassy, and the amp just couldn't really take all the lower frequencies that it was receiving at such a high amplitude. And so the effect of this, it's really weird because you hear it as, oh, that, at least I do, I hear it as, oh, it's way more balanced. But it's the net effect of plugging this thing into the amp and the amp doing its thing. It's the whole system together that creates a sound, not just this piece making some part of the sound and then this piece making some part of the sound. It's everything connected together. So I just thought this was super interesting to point out that, big difference in input level here, sounds better. Not so big of a difference input level here. The amp just can't take the high amplitude of the neck pickup, the frequencies the neck pickup is putting out. So anyways, I thought that was a pretty good example. I'll cut together all that. And once again, if you have been, thank you for watching. And remember, if it sounds good, it is good.